What's up? It's Jason coming at you again with another high energy walk and talk video. I gotta work on a new intro now that I'm Jason. I need to say new things. Check out this beautiful sky. Beautiful. So today, gonna go a different route. Like when I was just walking myself, I would do that route that I did in the last video, like every day. And I would just work on like increasing my time, setting new records, but to kind of make things a little bit more interesting for the viewer, even though I don't know how many people are even watching the whole thing to see the scenery. Did have someone say that they just put the video on and listen to it like a podcast while they go for a walk. So, oh boy, view ropes. Then you're missing out on these view ropes. Oh, beautiful. You get the sun in there with the clouds. This is why I love coming out and walking like right at sunset. And when it was too hot, bummed me out, man. When I had to walk at night. So just coming out and like watching the sunset just lifts my mood for the day. There was periods of time where I never left my house for like 2 weeks. I've definitely gone, it's probably been more. You know, I don't know exactly how long, but for sure I've gone 2 weeks without leaving my house before. It's probably been like 3 weeks. And you really start to get the cabin fever. So just getting out every day, get the blood flowing, watch the sunset, you know, see other human beings doing things. Every once in a while pass some. There's not too many that are interested in having a conversation. Old lady that I walked by a couple times, she did actually stop and talk. Like, you know, I would just say hi while I was passing, and she said something like, "Oh, I seen you on the other street," or whatever. Like we had crossed paths earlier when we were doing our laps. And I'm like, "Yep." I stopped. I'm like, "I'm out here, you know, just small talk, chit-chatting. Like I'm out here trying to lose some weight." She's like, "Me too," you know. But you don't come across people that will even say hi a lot of times. I walk by many people, passing them, and hello, and they're just eyes forward, do not make contact, stranger danger. All right, I think that's good on the sunset for now. Let me strap you on I'm strapping you on my shoulder this time. I'm trying a different view, a way to strap myself. See, look, this is the mount. Instead of putting it on my chest, put it up on my shoulder. It kind of looks like reminds me of that movie Short Circuit. Remember the robots? Number 5 is alive. They'd have a gun pop out of the shoulder like that. Pew! That's what it reminds me of. All right, let me mount you on my shoulder here. There, like that. Clip you in. This is in like horizon leveling mode, so it's supposed to. Let me get you up on my shoulder though. Alright. This is experimental. I can't see the screen. So it's different. It is more comfortable carrying it like this. I'm gonna see how it does stability wise. If it gives a better image or makes any difference at all. We'll find out. So today I made a pot roast out of a ribeye steak. If that makes sense. I took a ribeye steak out of the freezer, and normally to cook a ribeye steak, you have to take it out of the freezer and like let it thaw for at least 24 hours in the refrigerator. Then you could cook it on the grill, or I've cooked them in my air fryer. But I just put a frozen steak straight in my Instant Pot, and I dumped a pack of onion mix on it, and then cooked it for slow cooked it like 6 hours. I woke up this morning at 5 a.m. I just had to go pee. But then here's a pro tip. If you get up at 5 a.m. to go pee, don't get your phone, don't look at your phone, don't excite your brain in any way to make it think that it's time to go. Just get up, pee, maybe even keep your eyes shut while you're peeing, and then just go straight back to bed. But I got up and looked at my phone, looking through emails, and then stayed up for 5 minutes, and then I couldn't go back to sleep. So I've been up since 5 this morning. Ooh, sunset. I don't know if I'm getting that sunset. I think I could check on my phone. I don't know if I could do it while I'm recording though. Whew. But yeah, that was a mistake I made. Don't get your brain ignited if you want to go back to sleep. I normally wake up at 7:45 a.m. and I start work at 8. I just have to roll out of bed and log into my laptop when I'm at work. That's nice. Back when I used to have to go to the office, I'd have to wake up at least at probably 7, take a shower, actually have to do some grooming, comb your hair and brush your teeth and before you can get to work. Now I'm just boot up my laptop. Done. Work on easy mode. So we're gonna go down. I have gone this way before, but I'm gonna go a new way. Instead of turning left, I'm gonna turn right. And we can walk all the way down to Walmart. And I am starting a little later, so it's gonna get dark. It's 7:30. I believe the sun sets 7:50 something. So sun's going down right now. But I was pretty impressed my other video of how good the low light ability is with this camera, especially when I was wearing that headlamp, which I did bring. So we'll get into some night walking. These are cheap too on Amazon. I got actually 2 of them in a pack. They're a nice little LED head strap. Whew. So today is Friday when I'm recording this, but this probably won't get posted until Sunday, which is one downside of posting the videos in HDR, and I'm not going to go into a big spiel about HDR again. I know most people don't care about resolutions and color profiles and dynamic range, but when you post a video in HDR on YouTube, it has to go through and process everything. Like it'll go process it to SD, HD, and then 4K if you post it in 4K, and then after all that it goes back and processes it in HDR, and that process, well, if you post like a 5-minute video, it might take an hour or 2. But when I'm posting an hour and 40-minute long video, it takes 2 days. So I'll just have to get into a routine of posting and scheduling them 2 days out if I want to be able to have it go live in HDR. Whew. Let me know in the comments if you're actually watching the video or you're just listening. We got some view ropes. Sunset. Awesome. Make sure to click that every once in a while just to make sure it's level. I have it in a horizon mode, so it's supposed to keep the horizon in the middle of the screen, but we'll see if that actually works. Yeah. So yeah, my ribeye pot roast. I think ribeyes are just too fatty to do it like that with just, no. I have made them with like a cream of mushroom soup, and that turns out pretty good because all the fats kind of melt off into the mushroom soup. And that's a good way to do it. But when you just put the meat in there with just dry onion mix, all the fat melts, and it was just like a puddle of liquid fat. It just made it too fatty. So I think if I'm going to do it that way, I'm going to have to get leaner cuts of meat. Could actually get, an actual roast. What it's supposed to be for. Which would be cheaper than a ribeye steak. Oh, 1520. We don't have a sidewalk on that side. I'll wait to cross over. I think we're gonna have a good view once we get up here and turn right. Walking right into the sunset. Let's see if I can get see if the Osmo app. Osmo. DJI. Connecting. Join. Here it is. It's upside down. But the view's good. Guess it could be more centered. There. It's better. I'm getting a little burn in my leg, and I'm not even walking that fast. I need to get on my low carb diet. All right, I'll stop messing with my phone. Yeah, that's all I ate today was a bowl of Cheerios in the morning, and then I ate that ribeye steak with the onion mix. I didn't even eat it all because some of it was just too liquidy fat. Whew. Man, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to go that far today. My leg is already starting to burn. It's pretty crazy. Like one day I can get out and walk 6 miles. Other days I get out and I can barely walk a mile. Get some more hydration. Some tea. And sometimes it just goes away, so we'll see what happens. Let's cross over. Oh man, need to get to a viewpoint, see that sunset. Yeah, I've kicked, the only thing I've really ever been addicted to is nicotine and food. And I've kicked my nicotine habit for the first time and ever. Like I've quit for a few weeks before, back when I was smoking cigarettes. It's the first mile, the 19-minute mile pace. I think waiting across the street though slowed that pace down. But I did quit cigarettes, and then I went to vaping. But like the whole time I was vaping nicotine. And then just this year, I wanted to try to quit vaping. And the first step was to get off of nicotine. That's the biggest hurdle. Oh man. Can't really see the sunset that good. Get some nice color clouds. See if we can get it. But then I started slowly, reducing the amount of nicotine I was putting in every time I'd mix up a bottle of juice. So I make my own juice so I can control all the aspects of it. Let's see if you can see some sunset there. And then finally, about, I don't know, it's been 2 months, 3 months. I lose track of time, but I've not had nicotine in my juice for months. So I'm completely off of the nicotine. I posted a video on my Wicked Shrapnel channel that said I finally kicked the nicodemon. So that was like, I don't know, a month into it. So however long ago that video was posted. I'll tell you how long I've been off. But I still mix up juice with no nicotine in it and vape it. It's kind of just that's the more oral fixation habit part, just going through the motion. I need to start getting toothpicks maybe, just to bite on a toothpick or play with one in my mouth, just to get away from putting a vape in my mouth, put a toothpick in there. I don't know what other ideas of things that I could do to get over they call it oral fixation, but that sounds like that's a weird saying. I don't know if I feel comfortable saying I have a oral fixation, but I guess that's what it is. Getting sweat on. I brought my hanky. Wet my brow. I'm such a prolific sweater. And it's not just because I'm fat, which I'm sure contributes to it. But even when I was skin and bones, I've always sweat a lot. It's going to be very interesting to see how much I sweat when I'm in Bangkok, when they have, 87% humidity, 90 degrees. I am going in December, between December and January, so that's like the best case scenario time to be in Bangkok. Whew. And I'll probably be out at night a lot. I guess sleep during the hottest part of the day or something, or just be inside. So many malls to explore. They all got AC. We'll see what happens. Now we got some cops up here. What's going on? Weather's awesome right now. Let's see what it is. 85 degrees. It actually feels cool. It's when that wretched ball of fire is not in the sky, shining directly on you. You can tolerate some higher temperatures. And temperature was 104 just a few weeks ago. So compared to that, 85 feels great. Yeah, let's see what's going on here. A lot of cops over there. Controlling it with my phone. Go any farther. They just have a guy stopped over there. They come in full force. Put it off to the side a little bit so you don't see the side of my face. This is pretty cool though that I could control with my phone. It's upside down though. We're just gonna keep walking down this road. This is Lewis Henna, which is the frontage road to the toll road up there, which is 45. "27 minutes in." See all the UPS trucks. There's a big UPS distribution center right over there. All the UPS trucks are heading home. So yeah, kick the nicotine habit, but I've not kicked my food addiction habit. That's an addiction that you can't just quit cold turkey. I'm crossing here because there we go. I was getting ready to walk on the red anyway because it was ridiculous. Yeah, you can't just quit eating cold turkey and kick that habit. You have to eat again eventually. But I do think fasting, which I've not done in a long time, is a good practice. Just help flush out your system. Hit the reset button. And I've done like juice fasts and cleanse. I mentioned that in the other video. I'm just doing like a water fast. Flush everything out. And the first day is usually the hardest. I'm gonna schedule to start my fast on a Wednesday, which is the day I take my Monjaro injection. which is like similar to Wegovy and I don't know, what's the more popular one's name? I'm already forgetting. Ozempic. That's probably the most popular drug name of the same type of medicine. Where did my controller go? So I'm scheduled to take that when I take my shot, and I just won't be as hungry. Doo-doo. There's the side of my face. And then I'm gonna try to make it a week. Only water. I'd be curious to see how much weight I can lose in a week. And that will kick me into ketosis. So that's kind of a way I could do ketosis and get into fat burning mode without eating a high fat diet. Another thing is I'm gonna have to closely monitor my blood pressure because I've had to fast before, like before I had a surgery, and just not eating food for like 24 hours, my blood pressure dropped a lot from my blood pressure meds. So I might just have to stop taking my blood pressure meds, monitor it, see where I end up, because it was dropping to like enough to where I was getting lightheaded and about passing out. I did pass out actually when I had to stop taking my meds for like a week when I had my deviated septum nose surgery. So when I started taking the meds again, that night I got up to go to the bathroom. I usually take my meds before I go to bed, and that night I got up to go to the bathroom and made it 6 steps to the bathroom, got real lightheaded and just blacked out. And I woke up face down on the tile bathroom floor, and my nose was hurting, and I just had surgery on my nose, and I landed flat on my face. I even went and got a checkup, make sure I didn't mess anything up, but they said it was fine. Still probably not recommended to land flat on your face at any time, and especially after surgery. These apartments are nice. I went and looked in them before. I've thought about, and not now, I should have done this back in June 2022, but thought about selling my house and moving into like a 1-bedroom or studio apartment. But house prices are down at the moment. Mortgage rates are coming down, so maybe by this time next year, if rates keep dropping, house prices may go back up. If I get the opportunity again to sell my house at like $500,000, I'll take it. Take a $500,000 Right now I'd be lucky to get 400. I monitor like Redfin, like my neighborhood and surrounding neighborhoods. And I'll like mark as a favorite houses that are similar to mine, square foot and age and whatnot. And in like the past 6-8 months, all the houses have been listing like, you know, they'll list at like 400, 425, and then you just see price reduced, 415, price reduced, 400, price reduced, 490. So houses are sitting on the market. They're having to drop their prices. So it's not a seller's market right now. Probably be a good time to buy. Even though mortgage rates, although I've seen mortgage rates were like around 5% now, which is much better than they were. Still, if you buy a house and get it in a 5% mortgage and just wait, you know, a year or two, they may cut. Rates may go back down to 2% again, and then the house value will go up, but you can refinance. You'll have more equity in it when you refinance, get a lower rate. So I don't think buying would be bad around now, but prices of houses could tank again. Who knows? It's so hard to say. The way our economy is structured is just a mess. There's just no, you can't plan for the future. No, you know, you have no idea. It's just so volatile. Everything, like all assets, are so volatile. Stock market's volatile. Real estate prices are volatile. Just the value of the dollar itself with inflation is volatile. Bitcoin has been very volatile lately. Whew. So it's really hard to plan for the future. I'm just going to stay in my house for the time being, especially since I'm getting Google Fiber. I know I've been waiting for that for all my life. I definitely want to hang around and get that. That'll be a requirement too. If I do move to an apartment, the requirement will be they have Google Fiber. Not any other fiber. I don't want AT&T fiber. I don't want any lower tier fiber. I want Google Fiber. They're the best. Best bang for the buck. I mean, if I really had to have other fiber, it'd be better than what I got. But I can't go from having Google Fiber to going back to Spectrum cable internet with bad upload speeds. Not gonna do it. Not gonna do it. Wouldn't be prudent at this juncture. Oh. Woo. And I'm not going to talk about politics. I do want to say I'm sick of politics. So sick of it. So divisive, and all the hate, especially on Twitter. Sick of seeing it. That's all I'm going to say. Can't wait till the election's over and people chill out. Something going around in there. Whew. Oh man. What am I at? 2 miles. 2 miles. Feels farther when I'm walking down this main street. Nothing is coming here. You go to the island. I'm walking on red because I'm a rebel. What you gonna do? Yeah. My cost of living right now is not that bad. I don't eat out at restaurants. I've cut down on that a lot. I don't order on DoorDash or Uber Eats as much as I used to. The prices have just got stupid, and the portion sizes, you know, if the prices haven't gone up, then the portion sizes have gone down. Where I've bought like a Frosty at Wendy's, and it was like this little cup for like $3. They just shrink it to where you're getting smaller portions for higher prices. But shopping at like Sam's or Randall's, like I pay, I think it's $99 a year at Randall's, and they give you like $10 in coupons a month. So if you shop there at least once a month, you end up getting $120 in value for the $99 just by being a member. But on top of that, you rack up all these points, and I fill some prescriptions there. And like every 5th prescription you fill, you get a 20% off coupon, and those coupons stack. So I've stacked like 3 or 4 coupons and got hundreds of dollars off. It was like a $400 grocery haul, and I paid like $80 for it. And the clerk or the cashier had to call manager to like approve it. And like, I've never seen such a big discount. Stacking up them prescription bills. So if you're trying to save some money on groceries, look into like your local grocery stores and what their memberships offer. Like they also offer like free delivery. So sometimes I do that, although one time I filled out an order for delivery and I used those coupons. I had like three or four coupons stacked, and it was like a $300 order down to $60. And then when they were shopping for it, they were trying to substitute an item, and when I approved the substitution, it stripped all those coupons off, and they were trying to charge me $300 for the order instead of the couponed amount of $60. And I'm like, no way, put my coupons back on. And they were gone. So that was some BS. So now whenever I want to use those coupons, I have to actually get off my lazy butt go into the store so that I can be sure that all the items that I'm buying are actually there. I think I could probably just put no substitutions for every single item. That might save that from happening for an online order. But I haven't tried. So what I'm saying is, even though prices are crazy, restaurants, fast food places, if you get into the discount programs at grocery stores and look at their advertisements and see all the things that are on sale, sometimes I'll go in there and just buy the things that are on sale, like the buy one get one, or if anything's heavily discounted, let's make sure I get all those items. But if I'm actually trying to be on a diet, can't really do that, because usually the items are like Doritos, buy one get one. There was a milk. There was a milk that was if you buy 3 gallons of milk, it was only $1.99 a gallon. So I bought 3 gallons of milk for $6, and I think normal it's like $5 a gallon. So might as well get 3 for $6 instead of 1 for $5. So you can eat relatively cheaply if you actually try to do it. But going out to restaurants has got ridiculous. And if we actually had universal health care in this country, I could think about retiring early and not having to go overseas. But that's not a possibility. And the cost of health insurance when you're not employed and you're not below the poverty line and not 62 or whatever it is to get on Medicare. Like, I can't not work at 50 years old and afford health care in this country. And I'm pretty sure that's by design. It's like, if you want to be able to afford health care, you have to get your butt to work. You have to work till you're 65, 62, whenever. Work till you die. And that's not what I want to do. I don't want to work until I die. And I really started thinking about that because of my dad. My dad died at 64. He'd just retired. And he had all these plans, his whole life. He talked about, things he was going to do when he retired. He even talked about like going to Mexico and getting a house on the beach and all the different things that he was going to do and travel, and it never happened. Hello. So I don't want that to happen to me, and it could. So many people say that I'm a clone of my dad. I look just like him, very similar. You can see what he looks like in the beginning of my Jason from Birth On video on my Jason MP78 channel. I look very similar. And he had heart issues. think he had his first stent heart surgery when he was like 40. I think he might have been 39. So I've at least passed him up on that. And my mom says I got her genes, so I won't have heart issues. But my grandpa on my mom's side had heart surgery. He had like a double bypass. My grandpa on my dad's side had heart surgery. My dad had heart surgery. The only positive I got is my mom has not had heart surgery. But heart disease is a lot lower in women. I could start calling myself Jessica to reduce my risk of heart disease. My mom was just saying today that she wanted to have a boy and a girl, Jason and Jessica. So I can just start calling myself Jessica. I'm already getting boobs. That's funny. So this is Walmart. Oh man, we're at 2.74 miles. There is a lot more stuff walking this way. I would just be about getting to the H-E-B grocery store if I walked the other way. That's really the only thing up there. There's a couple little restaurants. There's a Jack in the Box. But not too much down here. There's a bunch of stuff. Home Depot. Chick-fil-A over there. McDonald's. Nothing too exciting here though. I think Walmart is the biggest attraction. I'm just going to cut straight through. PetSmart over here. Dun, dun, dun. What's this? Ross, Dress for Less, Party City. Could go into PetSmart, see what kind of animals we could see.
We asked him, or should we freestyle on
I'll skip it. Skip it. This other store. DD's Discounts. I've never heard of it. Ladies, kids, men's shoes, home. You ever hear of DD's Discounts before? Yes, they're competing with Ross. Then we got a bookstore. Half price books. They buy books. I should bring all my books in here. I'm not gonna read them. I've read like half of them. And you try to list them on Amazon, they want to give you like 99 cents. It's probably all I'll get for them there too. A lot of the books I have, I got on like this subscription program. I forget what it was called. It's like $20 a month. But you get to pick out a bunch of books. And like the introductory offer, you get like 10 books. And then you could cancel after a month. So I was getting like, 10 or 12 books for $20, and then I'd cancel. And then you could wait a little while and do it again. But that was like, I probably haven't bought a physical book since the last Dan Brown book, I think, Origin. I did buy that. That's probably still been five or 6 years ago. Let's go this way. I'm gonna strap my headband on. Get some light. Starting to slouch here. Oop. Oop. A little dirt trail here. All right, what, 3.08 miles. It's been 58 minutes at a pace of 1854. And my peroneal tendonitis in my right leg did subside, so that's good. Sometimes I just have to walk through it. But other times, if I don't slow down, like I've kind of learned how to get through it most of the times. If I'm walking too fast and I keep pushing it, I start to feel the burn, and I keep pushing it at that pace, it'll just get worse and worse until I can barely stand on the leg. But if I slow down just a little bit, I could usually get it to go away. Man, it's dark down here. And it is 8:22 p.m. So what other topics do we have to discuss? There's not too many topics that I could speak on at length. Traveling, Bangkok, Thailand, Vietnam, Philippines, Malaysia. Talk about all those places. I'm gonna save that for its own video. I'm gonna talk about all the different countries in Southeast Asia, pros and cons. Even though I've never been to any of them, I've watched over 1,000 videos, no doubt, in the last 2 years on Thailand. So that's the one that I know the most about. But I've also watched at least 100 or 200 videos on Vietnam, Laos, Cambodia, Philippines, Malaysia, and even some Indonesia, Bali. So I kind of know what's going on over there. Yeah. And that's the biggest appeal going over there, is mainly healthcare. Being able to not work and actually afford healthcare out of pocket, not go bankrupt if you get sick or get in an accident. I just watched a video of an American that was living in Vietnam and got diagnosed with cancer, and I think it was like throat cancer or something, and decided to stay in Vietnam to get the treatment because he couldn't afford it in America. And he was not wealthy by any means. The treatment was going to cost $3,000, and he actually had to wait, and he started a GoFundMe, and he had like a little YouTube channel and got, enough people to help donate in like a month to get the $3,000. And then he got his treatment in Vietnam, and the cancer went into remission. There's no signs of it. And he came back to America and just went to get a checkup to make sure, that what the Vietnamese doctors said was actually true, that there was no cancer. And they're like, yeah, it's all done very well. And it was something like this type of cancer in the throat. It normally like destroys the salivary glands when you just do the shotgun approach. And his doctor said, like, if his salivary glands are working, then they must have done the more expensive, at least in the United States, targeted approach, so it didn't destroy his saliva glands. And he asked like how much that treatment would cost in the US, and it'd be $100,000. So he got it for $3,000 in Vietnam, and it worked. It's, doesn't have cancer anymore. So what are you really paying? You're paying 3% of the price for treatment in Vietnam as you do in the US to get the same results, and probably better results, because his doctor in the US that he went to said, you have to go to specialized facilities to do this targeted cancer approach. So that's like not the normal chemo or whatever you get. I don't know that it was chemo. It was like probably targeted radiation therapy of some sort. But yeah, why pay that much more in the United States? Like, I would kind of be scared too cancer could kill you. I'd kind of want to pay the $100,000 in the US to, because we're led to believe that our doctors are better than any doctors in the world. And in most cases, that's true. Because a lot of the doctors over there come here to get their medical training. So, I mean, they're going to the same schools, getting the same degrees, going through the same programs U.S. doctors are going through, then going back home and charging 3% of the price. I still don't know if I would have the guts to trust it when my life depended on it. If I had the option, with cancer, you have time to, like, he didn't start the treatment until a month later. That's plenty of time to get on a plane and come home to get treated. But even if he would have got on a plane and came back here, he wouldn't have been able to afford the treatment ever. I'm sure he wouldn't have been able to get his GoFundMe up to $100,000 with his small little YouTube channel. And it's so sad too. Like, that's not something that most Western developed countries have to worry about. Like, if you're in the UK or in Canada, you get cancer, you're going to get treated and you're not going to go bankrupt. Not so in America. And they do, they complain about in Canada or UK wait times. Like, if you have to get a knee surgery, you have to wait for 9 months to get your knee surgery. But I mean, that's not life-threatening. If you have an emergency or a life-threatening surgery or treatment that you need, you're going to get it right away in time to save your life. They're not going to say, oh, you got cancer, and if you don't get treated within 6 months, you're going to die, but we can't fit you in for another 9 months, so sorry. That's not how it works. Even though the corporate talking heads get everyone in America to think that's what it is. And even in countries where they do have universal health care, you can go on, they always have, like, or not always, but mostly in most countries, they have private healthcare options that if you want to pay and get in sooner, you can. So why not have both? Have a public option, and if you want to get in and have your knee surgery by the end of the week, then go to a private hospital and with your private insurance and get your knee surgery next week. But if you'd rather not pay crazy prices, wait the 9 months, even if you gotta be on a crutch and limp around for 9 months, at least when you actually get it done, it's covered just with your taxes. At least they're getting, like, some good benefits for their taxes in those countries, like the UK and Canada. Like, we're paying just about as high of taxes as they are. Look at their tax brackets, how much people are paying in taxes there versus how much they're paying in taxes here. And then it's pretty much on par for everyone except probably the richest people. Just look at your tax bracket, how much you're making, how much you would be paying. Don't look at the upper tax bracket for people that are making $1 million or more. because a lot of other countries have much higher tax brackets than we do here. But at least they're getting stuff for it. Where the main thing that we're getting for paying taxes is a military that polices the entire world. Hundreds of military bases all over the world. I'd rather have, instead of 300 military bases, 100 military bases and universal health care. And a lot of other countries have better, workers' rights. They allow, longer vacation times. Shorter work weeks. Child care. I don't have any kids. They're so expensive. I've seen child care prices are nuts just for daycare. Can't afford to have kids in this country. And the birth rates are going down a lot. So I don't know. America's still a great country to make money in. If you want to start a business, especially for business owners, no better place in the world to start a business than the United States of America. And mainly it's because we don't have all the laws that have workers' rights. We have unions, but union participation rate's pretty low. That's about the only way that you get good workers' rights. I've never been in the union, but I think it's a good thing, being able to collectively bargain wages. When you just go in yourself with your manager and try to convince them to give you more money, you don't really have a lot of leverage bargaining power. But if everyone in your company gets together and says, here's the wages we want, or else we're not coming into work tomorrow or for the next month until we get a raise, well, then things seem to happen. It seems to get them to agree that maybe you are worth that much money. And the same with prescription costs. Every other country in the world has collective bargaining with their universal healthcare systems. They could say, this is the price that we're willing to pay for this drug. If you don't sell it to us at this price, then you lose access to 60 million people or however many is in that country. So they do, and they end up paying fraction of the price that we pay here. So we have no collective bargaining. But we've recently just got it for seniors, so Medicare is able to collectively bargain on just certain medications. So that's a good thing. And it's not on all medications. They're slowly phasing it in. It's 10 medications they could add a year or something. At least that's better than nothing. In other countries, they do that for all drugs. Now we're just getting 10 drugs a year. They could do that only for people that are on Medicare. It should be for everyone. I liked Bernie Sanders' idea of just Medicare for all. Like, we're already paying into Medicare. Just pay a few percentage more into Medicare, and you'd be able to eliminate private insurance costs, get rid of private insurance completely. You know, insurance companies are making tens of billions of dollars a year, and it's not needed at all. We'd be better off without them. If you know, everyone could be on Medicare as a base coverage. And if you want, like, private insurance doesn't have to go completely away, but everyone wouldn't have to have private insurance. If you want it, you know, if the wait times go up because everyone has access to health care, then you can get private insurance and get into hospitals that only accept private insurance. I'm sure there'd be hospitals that wouldn't want to accept Medicare. Like there are now doctors that don't accept Medicare because Medicare won't pay the outrageous prices that they're asking for. But there'll still be doctors that do accept Medicare. You can go to those, or you can get private insurance if you want to pay the price, if you can afford it. Not everyone can. And then go to your private hospital, private doctor that doesn't take Medicare, that you can get right in, get treated for whatever. I'm pretty sure that's like the way they do it in Australia. They have a public system that has just baseline coverage, and then they have private insurance too. And then the UK system is, you know, it's completely, that's like kind of the VA, or the VA in the United States is public funded. All the doctors actually work for the government. And it's just completely covered. When you're VA, you just go in there and it's all covered. And they're actual government employees. That would never go over here. It'd be communism. Can't have a communist healthcare. They have it in the UK. They don't seem very communist. And I would say if there's anyone in Canada or the UK watching, chime in and let me know your level of happiness with your healthcare system. Or if you live in any other country that has universal healthcare, public funded healthcare, let me know how it works in the comments. And if you are happy with it, or if you'd rather pay $500 to $1,000 a month for insurance, and even that doesn't cover everything. You could still end up paying $1,000 a month for health insurance and have a cancer or something and still have a huge bill. Or if you get in a bad accident, you have to actually be in the hospital for a month or multiple months. Like bills can get up in the millions of dollars in the United States. Completely bankrupt you over an accident. It's ridiculous. I mean, it's like 600,000 Americans a year file bankruptcy, and the primary reason is medical bills. That just does not happen at near that scale in any other country, any other developed Western country in the world. And they always say, oh, we can't afford it. We can't afford it. We're the richest country that has ever existed on planet Earth, and we can't afford it. Other countries with a third of our GDP per capita can afford it, but not us. It's so ridiculous, man. And they've got people so brainwashed to believe that. Like, I remember even when they were trying to pass the Affordable Care Act, all the people protesting, they're talking, propaganda saying that there would be a kill list. The government would have a kill list to kill old people. It's like, what? They just get you believing all these crazy things to fight against it. Fight against your own self-interest. Well, I don't see it changing anytime soon. Like all the other Americans love just about every other publicly funded service that exists in the United States. Like fire department, it's all public funded. We all pitch in a little with our taxes. And if we get a fire at our house, we don't get a bill for $100,000 that they had to come and put our fire out. Like if it was all private, the way healthcare is, you'd have to pay a monthly fee for private fire insurance, which they actually do this in some areas of the United States where they don't, like very small towns. There might be like 100 people and they have like a private fire department that you actually have to pay $20 a month or whatever to have fire service. And there's been people that didn't pay and they got a fire at their house and call the fire department. They're like, nope, you are not a fire service subscriber. And they just let their house burn down. So imagine that system throughout the whole United States, where you have to be able to afford fire service, or else your house is just going to get burned down. Or the police department, if that was a fee-based service, someone breaks in your house and's ready to murder you, you call the police and they say, oh, we see that you don't have insurance, so good luck fending off the intruders. Or public libraries, being able to go in and check out any book you want. That's a nice service. Public schools, you can actually get an education for free. I don't know. I just think it's a better model for services that the majority of people use, and that is a collective good for society, that everyone just chip in and share the services. Because it makes it a whole lot cheaper than ad hoc pay as you need. Because sure, it's great to not have to pay taxes to fund the fire department or police department or whatever the service is that's publicly funded. But then when you actually need it, if you're only paying for it when you need it, the price is just going to be outrageous for that one-time use, because not everyone's using it and not everyone's paying into it. It just makes so much sense to me. I don't understand how it doesn't make sense to other people. I think it's just the fierce individualism mentality in the United States. It's selfishness kind of been ingrained into us, that just get what's mine, don't care about anyone else, only worry about yourself, your immediate family, everyone else, fend for yourselves. Which I think, at least it's not so fierce that we have, private police and private fire and private funded roads, and we still have publicly funded things, and all those publicly funded things are really what I think make our communities and society a great place to live. And those publicly funded things are socialist things. That's really all socialism is publicly funded, collective funding of a common good, and collective ownership of your workplace, which is unions. Unions are a socialism idea. But it's turned into a dirty word in this country. Evil socialism. Well, you want to be like Venezuela? They always point to these countries that have authoritarian dictators that use socialism in quotes to just steal the wealth of the country and don't actually provide services that people are paying in for, and actually, take the natural resources of the country and put it in their own pockets and don't put it into the publicly funded things that it's supposed to go into. Like that's the Venezuela model. That's not a functional socialist democratic society. You look at Norway and Finland, Sweden, where Norway has this huge publicly funded wealth fund where they've nationalized their oil. So in the United States, all the oil and natural resources of our country are given over to private corporations, Exxon, other private companies. Where in Norway, the government owns all the natural resources of the country, and they license it out to private companies to do the work of extracting it from the ground and processing it, and they give them 50% of the profits. They split the profits. We'll let you extract the resources from our common land, and we'll split the profits with you. And then half of their oil profits go into a public wealth fund, and that's what funds their form of Social Security. So in our country, we talk about, Social Security's going bankrupt. Where in Norway, they have trillions of dollars in their wealth fund from that everyone is benefiting off the natural resources of their country. This land is your land, this land is my land. It's not Exxon's land. Where in this country, it's not your land or my land, it's corporations' land. And we just get the privilege of working for them. While they get the profits of our natural resources and they get pretty good deals on labor with our labor laws, unless there's a union. At least if there's a union for the workers to collectively bargain, they actually get some good wages and benefits. Well, my company I work for is pretty good, although I'd probably be making more if I was in a union, because I do not do very good at collectively bargaining my wage increases. I'm lucky to get a 2% raise when inflation's going up 6 to 10%. Like if I looked at how much I'm making now compared to when I started, but what the buying power of that is, I'd be willing to bet I'm making less now than when I started. From a standpoint of what I can actually buy with the money. Because the cost of goods have gone up a lot faster than my paycheck has gone up. Oh, what are we at now? 4.92 miles, an hour and 32 minutes. And we're still about a mile from home. Pretty good workout. Got some sweat going. This is Randall's here, my local grocery store. My camera's still pointing in a good direction, I hope. I have carrying my camera on my shoulder better than on my chest. It looks cooler too. It's like I got a freaking mounted gun on my shoulder. So that was my little talk on public goods. I personally like the Nordic model of government. Norway, Finland, and Sweden. And yes, they pay higher taxes than we do, but what they're getting for what they're paying is a lot better bang for your buck when you're getting childcare, and they get college. You can go all the way up to get a PhD for free, publicly funded. Where if you want to get a PhD in the United States, I mean, it could be $1 million. You're not going to do that without a big scholarship. I don't even know if they have scholarships that'll fund you all the way through PhD. I imagine there are. Most scholarships will just cover your bachelor's degree. I never really looked into that. I didn't have access to a scholarship. I did have access to go to state school in Tennessee for free, which I probably should have taken advantage of because my dad worked for the state. He was a teacher at a state juvenile prison. So I got to go to school at any state college for free, and I should have demanded that I go to like Texas, was it TTU, Texas, or I don't know what it is, UT, University of Texas in Knoxville. That's probably one of the bigger and better schools in the state. And if I'd have went there and like stayed in the dorms, you know, got to hang out with friends after class, I might have stuck with it. But instead I went and lived with my dad in Crossville, Tennessee, and I went to Tennessee Tech University, which is just a little school in Cookeville, Tennessee, and it's an hour drive from Crossville to Cookeville, and I had to drive there every day. So 2 hours a day was spent driving back and forth to school, 10 hours a week, and I was burnt out of just driving there. By the end of the first semester, I'm like, I want to go home. And I was like homesick for my girlfriend. I left my girlfriend there. So there's some machine running over here. You know, widening the street. I don't know what that, I think they're like pumping water out. Draining the creek. Interesting. But I ended up leaving Tennessee after the first semester, moving back to Ohio, going to Youngstown State University for 1 quarter. I got a student loan, which it only cost $2,000 a quarter to go to Youngstown State University back in 1996. Now it's probably, I'll have to look it up, see what it costs to go to 1 quarter at YSU. I would guess it's 10 times as much. I know that's just got outrageous. It's probably between $10,000 and $20,000, I'd guess. But I really have no idea. I just know prices have gone up a lot. So that's going to be my very high guess of what it's gone up in the past. Oh, how many years has that been? 30 years, something close to it. Crazy. But I did okay for myself after that first. I went to 1 semester in Tennessee, 1 quarter in Ohio. And like right before that next quarter was going to start, this says sidewalk closed, but I'm going to break the law, walk down the sidewalk. Breaking the law. But anyway, I was at a party, I twisted my ankle bad And I tried to make it on crutches to all my classes, and they were all spread out across campus. So it was rough. And then my uncle offered me a job to come work for him in Omaha. And I took him up on it. Dropped out of college, and he paid to get me certifications, training. The sidewalks close on both sides of the street. How do they expect you to get down the street? Can't close the sidewalk on both sides of the street, bozos. And I'll probably get stopped by the cop and be like, "You're breaking the law. The sidewalk's closed. You can't walk on the sidewalk." Well, the sidewalk's closed on the other side too. How am I supposed to get there? It's not my problem. You're breaking the law. There's so many laws. I think it was Ayn Rand that had a quote. So I'm going from socialist philosophies to the extreme individualism, capitalist philosophies of Ayn Rand. But she had a quote of saying like, you can't, I'm paraphrasing here, but said that like a government has no control over free men. So you just have to create so many laws, no matter what anyone does, they're breaking a law, so then you can control them. That's a very loose paraphrasing. But I bet if you Google that paraphrasing, you'll get the direct quote. It's basically that just so many laws that there's like almost nothing that you could do going through the day that you're not breaking some law. And then it's at their discretion of if they're gonna enforce it or not. You know, really, all a cop has to do is drive behind someone for a few miles, and you'll touch the yellow line or not signal or have something dangling from your mirror that's obstructing your view. Your light on your license plate's not bright enough. Like all those are actual laws. They could pull you over. And then if they want to search your car, all they gotta do is either just, I think I smell marijuana. That's the big one. That's like the cop wants to search your car. That's like, oh, I smell the marijuana. There could be never been marijuana ever in your car. You never smoked marijuana in your life, but if a cop thinks that he smells marijuana, he now has the right to search your car. Or if they're honest and they don't smell marijuana, then they could call out the canine, and then if the canine twitches its tail a certain way, say, oh, dog signaled on your car. Now they have the right to search your car because the dog looked at the car funny. Like, there are some honest dog handlers, but there's a lot of canine dog handlers that are just use that as an excuse to get into your car. It's pretty ridiculous if you ask me. They have all kinds of ways of skirting around your rights to get what they want. So it's best to just stay off the radar. And I do think that the majority of cops are honest, wouldn't do that kind of thing, but there's probably millions that would. And it's just your luck of the draw of which one pulls you over. And then I've watched so many like law enforcement interview shows on YouTube, or even just, like even on Dateline and stuff like that. Like majority of the time, the way they solve murders is just people saying things and lying and getting caught in lies, and not trying to give murderers a way to not get caught, but you just should never talk to the police without a lawyer, because like I said, there's so many laws that you can admit to something, that you're admitting to breaking a law that you aren't even aware that you're breaking. Like obviously, murder, you wouldn't admit to murder. But I mean, like, I could spit on the sidewalk there. I think that's perfectly fine. But there's some public ordinance that says spitting on a sidewalk is a misdemeanor and it's an arrestable offense. So they just have to get you to admit that you spit on the sidewalk, and they could arrest you. Like, that's an example. It could be anything. Like, a common thing is if you get pulled over, like a cop thinks you're speeding, it didn't really get you on radar, but they're just eyeballing it and they think you were speeding, and they might get up, like pace you from 200 yards behind and you're going 5 miles over the speed limit. But that's not enough evidence to find you guilty, but it's enough to pull you over. So they'll pull you over, walk up to your car, and say, you know why I stopped you? And if you say, I was speeding, well, now you're guilty. You just admitted you were speeding. So in that case, you just say, no, why'd you pull me over? You're speeding, or they'll just say, well, you know how fast you're going. And if you say you don't know what the speed limit is, you think it's 35. So you say, I was going 35. Well, you didn't know it, but the speed limit here is 25. Now you just admitted to going 10 miles over the speed limit, even though they have no evidence to really prove it. You just admitted it and did their job for them. So in that case, I'll just say, I'm not interested in answering any questions. You have the Fifth Amendment right to remain silent and to have a lawyer present during any questioning. And that's not just when you're arrested. That's at all times. It's in the Bill of Rights. Fifth Amendment protects you at all times. You're born with that protection, and you'll die with that protection. It cannot be given or taken away from you. You never have to answer questions. Ever. There is certain information you do have to provide in a traffic stop, or if you're arrested, you have to give your name, address, and date of birth. And that's it. And that's pretty much nationwide in the United States. They ask for your phone number. You don't have to give your phone number. They ask for your social security number. You don't have to give your social security number. Name, address, date of birth. That's all you have to say to them. You do have to provide driver's license, proof of insurance, and that's it. Don't say another word. because they're not there to be your buddy as much as they might be acting like they are. They're on a fishing expedition to try to get you to admit guilt and make their job easy. And they'll try to get you to consent to searching your car. Never give them consent. You're like, oh, if you don't have nothing to hide, you wouldn't mind if I looked in your car. And people, even if you know there's nothing in your car, there have been cases that people were with dirty cops. Of course, not all cops will do this, but it has happened where they gave them consent to search the car, and cops have planted drugs or guns, contraband of some sort in the car, and then find it. And the way that that's been proven is that they videoed themselves doing it on their body cams. So it's on their body cams of them planting drugs in the car, and they get caught. And that's because they got like consent to search the car. But even if you don't give consent, they could bring out a dog, and the dog twitches its tail, and now they're searching your car. Luckily, none of that stuff's happened to me, so. But if it did, I know I have the right to remain silent. All right, well, 5.98 miles. It'll be 6 miles, almost exactly. Get you. That was a successful walk. What was that? There. Split 6.
Pace, 18 minutes, 33 seconds per mile.
1 hour and 52 minutes. 6 miles. Whew. Well, thanks for hanging out with me. Hope you enjoyed my ramblings. Let me know in the comment if you did. And, ask me any questions or any suggestions on future topics. It would be helpful. I'll try to touch them in future videos. Well, that's all I got for now. So talk to you later. Take it easy.